Okay, hello, everyone. We are live right now, and it's a wonderful thing. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am Myrna Lane Hippolyte, your friendly neighborhood wealth coach, and I help high achieving women really turn their amazing wealth into income by investing in the stock market. So, tonight we have a very special treat. I am here with Jelan Agnew, and and she is an award winning TEDx speaker, transformation coach, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. But we're going to talk about an honest topic. We're going to have an honest, a frank, open talk all about investing, right? And why successful women like Jelan may not necessarily be investing right now. What are some of the obstacles? What are some of the hangups? And we're going to talk about them and just be open and honest, and knowing that this is a safe space, and knowing that I work with women who start off not investing at all and who are successful by any measure, letters in front of their name and the back of their name. So Jelan, take it away. Tell the people a little bit about you and who you are and what you do and the great things that you do for women.
Okay, so my name is Jelan Agnew. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I was a therapist in my past life, and now I am an award-winning international keynote speaker and TEDx speaker, and also a transformation coach. And what I help women do is, in the past 5 years, I have sold my house, paid off all my student loans, lost 70 pounds, and moved to Mexico. So one of the things I help women do is to transition out of lives they've outgrown by reconnecting with joy, reconnecting with creativity, and redefining success, because the old definitions of success are what keep us stuck in lives that are no longer fitting us. So that is what I do. And I'm on this call from Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Amazing. You paid off your debt and you moved to Mexico. So you must be living a less intense life. And I love that so much.
Absolutely.
I love that so much because I'm jealous right now, frankly. So tell us a little bit about, let's start from the beginning. So what do you feel has stopped you from investing? And when we're talking about investing, people, we're talking about investing in the stock market. So what do you feel has stopped you?
I would say first off, it's not something that was ever modeled for me. All of the women in my family have degrees. We were people who went to school and saved. So everybody has a bachelor's, a master's. Everybody got the house, all the things on paper. But investing was never one of those lessons that was taught to me, and I always knew that, and always knew I wanted to do something different. But it's always like, I'll do that. I'll do that when. I'll do that soon. And now I'm 41 and looking in the mirror like, well, ma'am, when is the soon happening?
Right. And you're definitely not alone in that, because I can tell you that me coming from that Caribbean background, I'm originally from Haiti. My parents taught me that, hey, if you're going to be successful in life, you got to do three key things. You got to go out there, work hard.
Right.
You got to go to college.
Right.
Get that good job. So if you do 1, 2, 3, that's like the magical formula for success.
Yeah.
But nobody really taught me either how to invest. What was the, right way to save? What could I invest in? So I hear you when you tell me that there's no exposure. And, having gone to, I think, good schools, right? I went to good Ivy League college. There was no education, in the undergrad realm about investing, about saving, any type of financial literacy whatsoever. So you're not alone in that vein when you're dealing with something where you haven't received the education. Right. Now, have you encountered any people or any means? Have you tried to educate yourself?
I might have read a couple books back in the day, maybe some YouTube. I remember recently like sitting down and be like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. And I watched the YouTube video in like 3 minutes and 6 seconds in, I'm like, I don't know what anyone's talking about. I'll start next year. So it's one of the things of like, whenever I do, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start the research now. I'm gonna talk to people about it now. It's hard to know what avenue to take. It's hard to know who to trust. It's hard to know what's legit. It feels very arbitrary.
Yes. Because a lot of times I encounter people, they do have that, they've been scammed before, for example, or you hear about the latest crypto craze, and you're going to double your money in a month. Usually I tell people, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true, right? And so there are definitely the hangups, because now with the internet and social media, you got all these investment experts that are popping up left and right. And what I tell people is do your homework, right? So somebody like me, for example, I know I look young, but I got 30 years of experience under my belt in the finance realm, and have been a financial advisor and was an equity research analyst who recommended stocks to big portfolio managers. But you don't have to be that person. And that's why I founded my company. You don't have to be that person in order to start and to be able to invest and do something and understand it and break it down the way that you need it to be broken down.
Yeah.
So do you have, and one of the hangups that I feel people have sometimes is that they feel that this is something that they should already know.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's something I should already know. Even coming on this call, guys, I was so nervous about it, and I didn't want it to be recorded, because I'm like, because then everyone's gonna know I don't have this information in my mind, and I don't know what that's about, but it just feels like investment feels like a private club that only certain people are in, and if you're not in it, it's kind of like this shame that happens. So that's definitely a feeling of like, why don't I know this?
Yeah, it's not a private club, and we deserve to be in the club. If it's a private club, we deserve to be in the club. And so that's why I've kind of made it my mission to kind of meet people where they are. So meet people, and you'd be surprised that many of my clients, I would say 90% of my clients, come in and haven't invested at all. Or if they've invested, it's been, okay, somebody set up my 401k for me, but I don't really understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And so the ability to bridge that gap, and I even have a client, she's over 60 years old, and she's investing for the first time, teaching her kids and teaching her grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all to say that you can start at any point. You said you're 41. 41 is like perfect, because, hey, you got a longer horizon in front of you in order to have your money grow.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the other misconceptions that I find that happens is that people sometimes worry about making the wrong investment decision, because you're out there, you're making your money, you're working, you're saving, and then you put your money in the stock market, and you hear sometimes horror stories about, hey, people losing their money. Is that something that that's been a major reason for you not starting? And you mentioned the lack of education and some of the information not being simplified enough.
I don't think loss doesn't come up as scary for me, because that I do understand that it's kind of an up and down game. So if I was going to invest, when I invest, I'm not going to be investing looking for something to happen right away. It's going to be more of a long-term thing in my mind anyway. But I do think, like, how do you get started? What's a good way to get started? How much should I put in? Like, who do I work with? Like, how much is that going to cost me? And I know for a lot of people, there is money tied up in life's basics, and that's another piece of it that I'm always like, all right, when my basics are covered, because I run a business. So sometimes I'm like, okay, yes, and then other times I'm like, we're going to be eating rice and potatoes this month. So in that kind of lifestyle, sometimes it's hard to have the long-term thinking to even think about investing, because it feels like something you do after all the bills are taken care of, not something you do as a part of your regular everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I get that, but my response to that is simply this. One, it doesn't take a lot of money to start your investments, right? Because I tell people with as little as $5 a day, and $5 here in the US right now is not going to buy you much. It's not going to buy you much. Let's say, my kids, they like Wendy's. We do the $5 biggie bag thing sometimes. I go to Starbucks. I could spend more than $5 if I decide I want to drink a breakfast sandwich, etc. So it's starting small, starting where you are. And my argument too is that you should be putting yourself first. So part of you attaining a sense of financial wellness and putting yourself as a priority is putting yourself first. So in that lineup of, bills and things that you have to pay, you should be part of that lineup and you should be your most important bill. And if that means that, hey, this month you pay your obligations, you have, $25 left to spare, that's what you invest, because investing only helps to make the future you better. Because I kind of consider it a future you bucket, because what you invest today, tomorrow will give you more options, will give you a better life, whether it's $5, $25, $1,000. The important thing is to start where you are and to be consistent in the process.
Yeah. I'm a huge pattern person. So what I'm hearing is it's almost like eating healthy, right? Like in that moment, you might not want the baked chicken breast, but it's an investment in the I'm really working hard on my back right now. So it's an investment on the sexy back that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can
Mm-hmm.
see it that way, then I'm much more likely to invest. But again, and I'm so glad I'm talking to you, because this is demystifying. And I hope anybody is watching this is being demystified, because that's what I need. I'm very like, no, teach me the basics. I want to learn, and having someone help me shift the way I see things is the way to get me to change my behavior. So I'm glad that you said that, because now I'm thinking of investment like I'm thinking about that chicken breast I'm about to go eat.
Now, girl, we got to modify that chicken breast example, because chicken breast, I'm like, I can't get with the chicken breast. When I see chicken breast, I think, oh Lord, diet, I'm gonna have to suffer, and I'm
But
gonna have to eat the chicken breast and broccoli. No, investing, there's no suffering involved. Just think of
but for
it as,
me,
the best food that you love with 0 calories. Just
oh,
think
the
about it
best food
like
I
that.
love is, but for me, chicken breast, I'm down 70 pounds. So for me, chicken breast is just a part of
Is
maintenance.
the answer. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, all right, if I can put it in that bucket in my head, I'm already doing the chicken breast. So it don't make no difference now.
Okay. Okay. I just want if you're on the
Okay,
chicken breast
right.
train,
If
great. But
you're
if
on
you're
that,
not, understand.
if it don't help,
Yeah.
okay.
Good. So yeah, it is a discipline, right? It
Mhm,
is a
mhm,
discipline,
mhm. Good.
because the way you make money is really by practicing that consistency,
Yeah.
right? You need three things that I say to be a successful investor. Is one is consistency. You make that commitment every month. Let's say you say you're going to commit minimum $50 every month.
Okay.
You make that commitment $50 every month. The months where you have more than $50, you put more than $50. So one is commitment. Two is time, right? The more time you have, the more time there is for your money to double, right? And that's really what you want. You want your money to grow. Because if you're putting your money in a sleepy savings account or you're putting it under the mattress, it's not going to grow. You want it to be able to grow. You want it to be able to double. So time is your second thing. Three is having a good rate of return. So investing in companies or in different investment vehicles that have quality investments where you can grow your money more over time. So if I have an investment that's growing at 12%, that's better than something that's growing at 3%. And that will allow me to double my money a lot faster, because that's how you make the money in investing.
I'm taking notes because I literally I'm learning right now.
Great.
Rate of return. Okay.
Yes. Your rate of return, time, and consistency.
Okay.
That's the magic formula. That's what makes a successful investor. And what I tell people is that investing is very individual, right? Because what I invest in may not be what you invest in. It's the same like food preferences. You like your chicken breast, me, I'm like, chicken breast. I'll suffer through it, but I'd rather, give me like a nice chicken wing or something. So I won't do as much for me, from, fat standpoint, protein. But I'm like, just give me a chicken wing instead of the chicken breast. Right. So it's all about preferences, right? So you have to know what your preferences are before you engage. And part of knowing that is knowing what your investor persona is, because though I look young, I figure I got a good 10 years left, right? A good 10 years left in me. If I push it, maybe 15. And I want to be as aggressive as possible because time is shorter for me. But you're a lot younger, right? So you being younger, you have more time. You might say, hey, I might go even more aggressive. Or you might say, hey, I just want to be slow and steady. So you have to know what your investor persona is before you actually engage, because if you go invest in something that has high possibility for upside, but also high possibility for downside, and it goes down, then that could get you discouraged. And you might say, hey, I don't like the stock market thing. Right. So you have to know what your investor personality is before you engage.
That makes sense.
So what do you feel would make you more confident about getting started on your investing journey?
The how, like literally, where do I go set up the account? What's the best place to do that? And you talked about the rate of return. How do I see what those look like? How do I go about developing an investor persona? So for me, it would be about the how, because even if I do $5 a day, like you said, it's for me, it's just like, just tell me what to do so I can go on and set it up. Because watching the YouTube videos, I'm like, I don't know what to do next.
So what I'm hearing is that direct support, right? Mm-hmm. More of the concrete, show me how to do it, and doing it so that at the end, you're actually what I call implemented. You've implemented everything. You're actually investing.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what makes me and what I do a little different, is that a lot of times, you'll have people sign up. Have you ever signed up for like a course and not finished the course? And you're like, what was I thinking? You had great intentions when you bought the course,
right?
But you never really finished it. And you never reached the intended outcome.
Yeah.
So what makes me different is when people engage and start to work with me and join my program, we end with an implementation call, which is making sure that you are invested in something month after month after month. So if you do nothing else after working with me, if you decide, hey, you're not going to touch anything that's related to investing, at least you have something that you're able to invest month after month after month and understand why you're investing. Now, note to all on the internet, yes, I am not an investment advisor. I do not provide investment advice. So that's a disclaimer. You make your own decisions, but I educate women so that you are able to become empowered, know what to do, know how to open that account, and know how to begin your investments. And that's what I do. So having that support and having that final, hand holding, so to speak, is important, because you can see that you've implemented You know how to continue and how to make progress and move from being a non-investor to what I call an active investor.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I had to say, if you had to say, okay, I'm going to start investing, what would make you finally say that?
If I had some steps, I'd do it. What's today? Wednesday. Tuesday. I have to start Monday. In my brain, things start on Monday. But yeah, if I had the steps, I'd start Monday.
Good. So steps are concrete, having it spelled out. Okay. Let me check the comments on the live. I see Rebecca saying, I can relate to most of the questions on this live. See, I told you, you're not alone.
Guys, oh my gosh.
You are not alone.
It's not
just you're out there and you can relate to Jelan. Just put it in the comments for me. Thank you, Rebecca, for that comment, because people think sometimes that they're alone and they're like, oh my gosh, I should know this. And there's a certain level of shame with the fact that, oh my gosh, I don't know this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 41, I'm 60, I'm 50, what have you. And you're not started or you don't know what's happening. But the problem is it's not our fault. We were not taught this in the schools. I mean, now I think in the state of Florida, they're adding a financial literacy component, but my son is taking it and I have yet to see him learn anything about investing.
Yeah.
So there's hope for the future, but it's not taught. It's not something that's taught.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is I want to make it something that becomes a conversation that we have, right? It's a conversation that we need to have and that, you know, we shouldn't be ashamed to have and trying to get that knowledge, because that knowledge will only make us better. In fact, research has shown that women are actually better investors than men. Research has shown that.
That makes sense. Because
of how we process things in our brain, we actually get better investment returns than men. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we are the ones who are more shy about starting the process and overcoming some of those barriers when it comes to investing. Because the main ones, you talked about them all, is not being taught, not feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the material that's out there, because there's a lot of information out there about investing.
Yeah.
And you get overwhelmed pretty quickly, especially now with all these avenues for social media posts. You got all these investment experts popping up. So yes, there is opportunity to be overwhelmed, and you need someone to distill that information. And so that's what I do. So what I would like to do for you and all of our listeners out there is invite you to join me next Tuesday night. So Tuesday, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I am going to be hosting an investing happy hour. And essentially what that is, that's like 1 hour. You come with your glass of wine, cup of tea, whatever you want, and you come learn the basics. We're going to talk about what is a stock, to what is an exchange traded fund, to what is happening when you see those numbers flashing on the screen, to finding out what your investor persona is. We're going to do that on the Investing Happy Hour. So the investment for that is $47, and I put the link in the chat, and I'll come back and put them in the comments throughout all of the different platforms so that you guys can have it. But it's just all about the basics. People have left the Investing Happy Hour with, just the basics, right? The basic steps, enough to start. So, and it also gives you an idea of how I kind of simplify things, which can help you in potentially taking the next step. So I would like to extend that invitation to you and to all of our listeners tonight. Now, tell them a little bit about how they can potentially work with you and what you do. Because as we're, a platform, and the group that I have really is, or Facebook group, it's going to be going to Facebook group, is a financial empowerment community for women. And I like to bring on guests that really help women gain that financial empowerment. And I love what you do. So tell them a little bit about how they can work with you and how they can reach you.
Yeah, so my website is firstnamelastname.com, so jelanagnew.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, very active there. But my whole thing with women is a lot of women get to the idea of success, have checked off all the boxes, and feel stuck in that lifestyle. And my belief is that once you redefine success, you're able to move towards something that's more aligned with who you are, because a lot of women chose their career path when they were 18. Is that when we go to college? 22. Now you're about 45 and it's not aligned. Of course it's not aligned. The definition you have, you've outgrown what that looks like. And I work with so many women, doctors, lawyers, people in higher education, who house, car, family, titles that people were jealous of them for, but they felt so stuck because they had outgrown that part of themselves. So a lot of the work I do is to help women kind of shift out of that and add joy into their definition of success. I am a professional frolicker, and
I
my
love that, frolicker.
I'm a professional frolicker. My idea of success is to experience as much of the globe as I can through my five senses. And a lot of that comes from, I also had the successful life and I burnt out. I ended up in the ICU because of burnout and alcohol addiction. And I remember being in the hospital and being like, you got the house, you got the business, you got the red Mercedes Benz. I was teaching like you have all the things on paper, and there was a part of me that was like, okay, but what else is there to life? And that's when I started to seek joyful experiences and really center that over all of the other kind of achievement check marks. And that's when my life started to change. And that's when I sold the house and the car and closed my private practice and stopped being a therapist and kind of decided just to frolic and see what that looks like, because life is so short. And in the ICU, that's what I learned, that life was short. And I don't have nothing else to prove to nobody. So I just want to experience all the beautiful things I can. And that's what I help women do. It's my passion, it's my thing. And yeah, that's who I am and what I do. I also speak. I'm also a keynote speaker. So I speak this message to larger audiences as well. I just did a keynote at Bryan University in March. And the name of the conference was Reclaiming Joy. And that's what I talk to the students and staff about. So joy and redefining success is my jam.
That's great. And to piggyback on what you just said is that investing, believe it or not, will bring you more joy, because it's not just about the money, right? It's about the options and the things that the money allows you to do and the experiences that can be brought in because you have more money.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I want to thank you so much, Jelan, for coming on and for being vulnerable and knowing that this is a safe space and knowing that, hey, you are not alone. If you are guys are watching this live, or if you are watching the replay, just put the comment that, she's not alone, because I see it time and time again. Successful, accomplished women who haven't started because, there are these barriers. They weren't taught.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the proper education. They don't know who to go to. They don't have the right support. And so I'm here for you and for all these women out there who want to invest but don't know where to start. And I thank you for coming on tonight and for sharing your thoughts that might potentially help someone else who can see themselves in you, because there definitely are many women out there just like you. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, great. All right, everybody. So remember, Investing Happy Hour next Tuesday night at 7:30. Make sure to sign up for that. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great investing experience, at least a basic learning experience. So you're going to come learn the basics of investing, and I'd love to have you. So see the sign up link in the comments. Thanks again for being here with us, Jelan. Appreciate you. All right. Good night, everybody.